I'm Susie Goodwin, the host of Run Lift Mom, and as most of you know, I am a Zaya Active independent representative. This summer, we are celebrating our 4 pillars: activity, community, uplift, and light. We're doing everything we can to exemplify these pillars, and we hope this episode of Run Lift Mom inspires you to join us because it is about activity. Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. Today, we're going to be spending all of our time in the momming category. I've got Bailey Garcia, a pediatric occupational therapist with almost a decade of experience. She's also a new mom located in Nashville, Tennessee. Her program, Parents and Play, is focused on helping new parents use play as a foundation of parenthood. With that in mind, y'all, I brought her on to talk about a paralyzing topic on purpose: screen time. How much is too much for kids? How does it relate to development? What in the world should we do instead? Bailey's got our answers for us, so without further ado, here's Bailey Garcia with Parents and Play. All right, Bailey, welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
I am so happy to be here. Thanks so much for taking your time to talk to me today.
Well, I had to get the gold standard to talk about this subject. Bailey, we are talking about screen time today.
We are, and it's actually something that I really enjoy talking about because it gets a lot of attention, but I don't think that it gets enough expert attention.
Yes. So, real talk. Everybody listening to this podcast right now has had conversation with maybe their mom friends or whatever about screen time. It's a polarizing topic. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just the world that we live in, and as adults, we're carrying it over into parenthood. And as we have grown, so has technology, and the marketing companies have gotten really smart at how to target us.
Yeah, I agree. I'm, of course, the mom of 4 kids under age 5. So, it's really easy, real talk, Bailey, when I was pregnant. And then even when the kids were younger, I was like, I'm never going to use screens, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know what? I found myself getting into tight spots. Can I be honest with you? As we're speaking right now, my son got up early from nap. He's watching a television show. I need to keep him quiet. I'm not saying that to guilt you that we're having this. Right? Am I like a lot of parents that you come across at Parents and Play?
I have a 14-month-old, and I'm going to tell you, this morning we put on Sesame Street because I was tired, and I was like, hey, it's 15 minutes. We're going to survive. So yes, you are like every parent I come across, including myself.
What is, when you're working with parents, and obviously you've got a ton of great experience in early childhood development, occupational therapy, you've had a lot of, just in your professional world, work with adolescents. What are your recommendations in general for screen time?
So right now, I know the World Health Organization just put out their new recommendations for little ones under 5. And they say less than an hour up until the age of 5. They say sleep more, play more, and as little screen time as you can get.
Less than an hour. And you mean collectively. So like if you did that 15 minutes of Sesame Street and then there was a iPad reward for peeing on the potty, obviously I'm talking toddlers here, we're talking collective screen time throughout the day.
Yes. So it says up to an hour, but they said less is better. So when looking at that, it also needs to be recognized that they said it's not joint time spent together. So if you're sitting there and interacting with your child, that's okay because they're not completely focused on that screen time. They're still getting that interaction from you and moving throughout that screen time. So what we really want to focus on is when that kid is being sedentary and just zoning out with the screen time.
Right. So like right now, y'all, Christian's watching Paw Patrol. I'm pretty proud to say, let's see, he's had the iPad a couple of times today. About probably 10 minutes. And so if he watches an episode of Paw Patrol, I'm at my max for the day. But if we were to, for example, sometimes we will, he's got some like ABC Mouse stuff that we'll do together, and they're pretty like I'm beside him and helping him work through like the sight words and that kind of thing. So are you saying that like that ABC Mouse stuff would not be considered in his less than an hour budget?
I think yes and no on that. It's kind of tricky. Again, this technology topic is super hard because everybody has a different standard, and you really just need to know your kid. And hey, what is my kid's limit? Are you recognizing those signs of when my child is zoning out and when it's no longer productive for us and they're just using it as an escape to the world? So I think that's what's really important, is you understanding your child and recognizing those signs and continuing to stimulate your little one's brain.
I love that. I love that you're making the point that every child is different, and that as parents, we need to be tuned in. You've got a ton of experience, Bailey, in school systems, in the occupational therapy field. Can you talk to us a little bit more? So, yeah, we want to know about screens, but how about play, like on the other side of things, right? We want to remove them from the screens to play. What have you seen in the school systems and in your personal experience with adolescents and parents? Why is play important in those younger years?
So I've been an OT for 8 years, and I've worked in all different settings of pediatrics. And recently, like you said, I've gone over into the school system. And I think it's funny because when you think about OT, and if you've ever experienced it, you think about an OT sitting down with a worksheet or working on writing. And I am probably the complete opposite, because what we are taught in school, and as you progress through your profession, you really learn that, hey, play is the way, because play is the foundation for kids. So if we're really going to pull back and look at the foundation of where kids learn everything, it's play. It's not continuously practicing a skill. We need to use play to build their foundation so those skills are able to manifest as they should.
I'm going to sound so silly right now. Can you define play for us?
Here we go on the spot with that one. So play is play is the occupation of a child. So when kids are little, they move their body to experiment how to use it in the environment. They use their body to figure out how to use objects. I mean, I just posted today about our our Friday favorites. And today I talked about the Fisher-Price nesting bowls, and playing with those allows the kid to control the play. The toy is not controlling the child. So play is really anything that lets the child tap into that imagination and their intuition. It's not necessarily formal learning, even though we can make formal learning into play. But man, if we're talking about kids less than 5, they need to be tapping into that imagination and really figuring out, hey, how can I use this pot and pan in so many different ways?
Awesome. I exactly. I wanted to, define it just for the context of this conversation. So like, as an example, he's now 5 years old, Christian, used to love to play a game with blocks. We called it knockdown. I have no idea what the formal name is, but I mean, it is legit, where you would just stack blocks as high as you could and then knock them down and stack them up again. I mean, is that an example of play?
1,000%. And so that's shared play. And so that is actually, playing with blocks is something that we promote to do. That was the first way that my husband was really able to bond with my son when he was little, because I mean, he's only 14 months, but hey, we know that they're kind of boring when they're less than 1. And so my husband was like, how do I play with this kid? And so it's like, get some blocks, knock them down. He's going to enjoy it because he's playing with you, but it also taps into that cause and effect. So he knows something's going to happen, and then you're getting that shared emotional connection through that play activity.
great point on bringing our partners into this. I mean, it's different for a mother who carried a child and maybe nursed a child. And, right, I mean, we've just got different responsibilities as mothers. I poke fun at my uncle sometimes, and my aunt is a listener of this show, so she's laughing right now. But I remember when we had our firstborn, my uncle walked straight up to my husband, Mr. Runliff Mom, and said, yeah, so Christian is a newborn at this point, and he said, yeah, the kids get really fun when they're about, I don't know, about 2. Christian's like 2 months at this point. Now, he had grown kids when he was giving this, quote, advice. And we're joking about it right now. But to your point, at that, they're 6 months, they're, 12 months old, there's a way that they can engage and bond, and they can be a lot of fun, Uncle.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it starts way before then. So like 12 weeks is really, when they start giving you those social smiles and you start building that emotional engagement, is really where they start, waking up, and you can start playing with them. So again, Parents and Play, our mission is helping new parents learn how to play, because we're kind of bombarded in society by technology and equipment and everything you can think of, that I think we've kind of moved away from the basis of, how do I play with my child?
Yeah. So, tell us a little bit. I mean, we see the benefits there, that cause and effect, the benefit for the parent. Can you share a little bit about research on visual perception? We did some dialogue prior to this, and I'm really, really interested in that, but I don't quite understand it.
So visual perceptual skills is not something that is overly talked about. I think most people understand what visual acuity is, which is how the eye sees, but it goes deeper than just seeing. So visual perceptual skills are how our brain makes sense of what we're seeing so it can direct our actions.
Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. So again, as we think about development, there are a lot of different systems working together here. That's what I hear you saying. And that's kind of a component of it that we don't think about.
We don't think about it at all. And so, I mean, we look at milestones like rolling and crawling and walking, but we don't realize what's going on underneath those milestones and what other skills are being built, because these visual perceptual skills are built directly from gross motor play.
Ah, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's say somebody's listening, okay, and they're like, oh man, this all sounds good. I mean, visual perception and cause and effect and the bonding and less than an hour, but girl, I am in too deep. I mean, my kids got morning time, afternoon time. My kids' whole life is screens. What would you say to that parent that maybe is in too deep to strategize removing some of the screen time and replacing it with play?
So if you're listening to this during the summertime, this is the perfect time to get those kids away from those screens, because there are so many fun activities for kids to participate in the summer. Kids are driven to play. They're not driven to be sedentary creatures. They're really not. So it's great. Get outside, go swimming, go get a baseball bat. You will be so surprised at how well your kid is able to transition away from that iPad. And something I can tell you is that don't just take it away. You've got to slowly give kids a warning. Hey, we have 5 minutes and then we're going to go outside. So I think sometimes parents just abruptly say, okay, we're done. And then they expect the kid to be able to transition away from it. And that's where we get those huge, ginormous tantrums.
Ah, so let them know what's coming next as part of the strategy.
Yeah, and also give them an option. Hey, in 5 minutes, we're going to turn off the iPad. Do you want to go outside, or do you want to play with your blocks? That way the kid is an interactive participant in decision making. But also be careful in not giving your kid too many choices, because, again, that will also lead to tantrums. I could talk about transitions in a whole different conversation.
Yes. I mean, hey, again, 4 kids under the age of 5, I've seen decision anxiety in this house. And I really like your suggestion too. If you do choose to give options, it's a either or option.
Yeah, too many options overwhelm the kid. I mean, you've seen kids in the store, they just bounce from thing to thing to thing. And so that's why we really recommend two options. It's there. You stick to your guns. And a lot of times the kids will adjust to that and those tantrums will really decrease.
Great, great tip. How about, so we talked a little bit about, like, for example, the stacking bowls that you mentioned. I gave my example of knockdown. How about a parent with like an infant or a very young child? How can they strategize to play during the day in our very screen-filled world?
You know, during my fourth trimester, I can't lie, the TV was on because, all my little one did was eat, sleep, and poop. So the TV was there. But as he got older, my husband and I started to recognize that my son recognized the phone and he started reaching for it. So it really made us take a step back and examine our habits and what we want our son to do. So we made a rule. When you get home, your phone goes in the bowl until my son goes to sleep. And I know not everybody can do that, but I think it's really important for parents to take a step back and realize, okay, what are the boundaries I need to set for myself? And then they will start to see that, hey, my kid really doesn't need it, that I can do different things with my kid, like get on the floor. So we're talking about little, like infants. Is what age did you want to talk about?
Just like, yeah, like infants to one. So, with a 3-year-old, it might be easy to think about how to use your imagination or play with the child. But sometimes, at least like for someone like me, until my own children, I had not been around a lot of babies.
Yeah.
So it sounds ridiculous. I would not know how to play with a baby prior to having my own.
My husband had no idea. He had absolutely no idea. And he was just like, I don't know what to do. So I had to show him. So very early on, again, we are building that emotional bond with the kid, which is very much so play. So little tickle times and playing peekaboo. And when your baby is just starting to make vocalizations, you kind of doing that cooing back and forth with him. All of these things are play. It doesn't necessarily have to be with a toy.
I love that. Thank you we forget about peekaboo. That is a crowd pleaser. Listeners of this show will recall way back in episode 11, and I will link that episode 11 in the show notes. I spoke with Erin Bradley, the CEO of Zaya Active. Did y'all hear me? She's the CEO of a company, and she talked about in their house, she's a mother, and everybody in the house, she's got teenagers too, everybody in the house from 6 to 8 gets rid of their phone. They have no screens. Yeah. And that is so they can connect with folks. So I really like that rule that you're making there. And may I share something, of my own experience related to what you're saying about kids recognizing what's important to you?
Absolutely.
So we do after supper every night, we do a family, we read the Bible and we sing a hymn. Our kids, they're 3 now, but I'm talking, guys, when they were 2 and still kind of forming their words, they recognized Daddy's Bible and they know Daddy's Bible, and they know that is important and that book is important and something he loves. And they recognize what's important to us is the point I want to make. So whether it's, a Bible or I don't know, don't let your phone be that thing that your 2-year-old recognizes is a thing that's precious to you.
Well, and it's not just the phone, it's the laptop too. My husband's in pharmacy school. So, when my son was little and even now he pulls out that laptop to study, and we've had to be really cautious about that because my son is attracted to the screen. It's bright, things move, and he wants to see it. So I know it sounds hard to put your phone away for a couple hours, but hey, we used to live without cell phones. We used to not always be tethered to something where someone could get to us. And I love what you're talking about, that y'all had Bible time in the evening, because now after supper, we go straight to my son's room. My son brings us books. He's 14 months old. He will bring us a book and back his cute little booty up and sit on us because he wants to be read to, because he just knows that's part of our routine at night, even before we start like our nightly routine. He's just like, hey, we're going to my room and we're going to go read some books, or we're going to go play with some toys.
I love that. And I actually have a girlfriend who is a whiz for stuff like this. And I'm going to link down a couple of her favorites for maybe different age ranges, maybe like an infant to 1, and then like a 2 to 4, just bedtime books that are favorites.
We love books. I don't think you can have too many books. I think right now there's one called Rex It. And of course, they're building stuff and knocking it down. I was like, oh, this is perfect. He can relate to it. So that's kind of been our book we've had on rotation a lot lately.
For a child who likes knockdown, they will also like that book. Awesome.
And boys are rough and tough. I had no idea how much a little boy his age could destroy things. He loves to take things apart.
Oh, well, maybe he'll put it back together. Future engineer there.
He's trying to. He's trying to figure it out. And he gets frustrated. But you know what? I think, again, kids are creative problem solvers. And so I let him get frustrated. I'll let him work through it. And you know what? Eventually he figures it out.
I want everyone to hear that before we get into some rapid fire questions. You let him get frustrated. You let him work it out.
Yeah, you have to. Kids have to learn their emotions. You know, you had my good friend Kelly on talking about sleep. Kids aren't just born knowing how to do things. We have to teach them in social emotional cues, how to deal with frustration is all things that kids have to learn. And you know who they learn them from? Us.
Absolutely. They learn so much from modeling behaviors. And actually, we just, the episode prior to this is about modeling healthy behavior. So you guys look into that Mommy Masterclass. I will also link Kelly's episode here because that's an important parenting one. Are you ready to do some rapid fire, Bailey?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Tell me something funny that a little person maybe did with you or in front of you this week. And I say little person because I know you're both a mom and you work with children.
Yes. I see so many kids during the week, but again, I have to go back to my son because being a mom is just so much fun. And I really thought I understood it all, but being a mom just totally changes everything. So my son and I, again, we talk about letting kids learn from you and they watch and they know what you do. And when we feed at night, sometimes we spoon feed and I kind of play like I'm going to take the bite instead of him. And he just cracks up. So he's really into trying to feed me now with the spoon. And the other night he did it to me. He put it towards my mouth and he pulled it away and ate it and just laughed hysterically. And we just died because oh, he really does catch on to all these little things we're doing with him.
Like he faked you out?
Yes, like he put it in his mouth and then put it in his mouth really fast and then just cracked up.
My man, that's awesome. All right, you've got 1 hour to sweat. Bailey, what is your favorite 1 hour workout?
We used to be big into CrossFit, but recently I've started rock box kickboxing, and I tell you what, it is sweaty and it is fun, but it's just great to I've had fun hitting a bag. I'm not going to lie.
Hey, you got some fight in ya. I feel like you knew that. I feel like you knew that prior to the workout.
I'm Cajun. I'm from Louisiana, so of course I'm going to have a little bit of feistiness in me.
I love it. How about, Bailey? I mean, you're a mom now. You've got about a decade of work with adolescents. How about advice for your younger self?
Oh, it's funny to hear somebody say I almost have a decade of work behind me. I think I would have to tell myself to enjoy the stage you're in. I was always one to kind of rush and want to move on to the next step. And having a child has really slowed me down and realized, oh, I need to be present. I need to be where I am. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
I love that. Be in the season that you're in. That's fantastic advice and a really great way to close out here. Thank you so much for coming on, Bailey, talking with us about screen time, but then really more the importance of play.
Thanks so much. For really giving me the opportunity to come on here and talk about something that's near and dear to my heart as an OT, but also as a new mom myself.
I'm going to link your information down so folks can find you, Bailey.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Did you hear Bailey when she said summer is the
easiest time to remove screens. Yes! Also, the concept of letting our children fail, it's one that I know I should hear more often, and Bailey, I am glad that you brought it up. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to link to your information in the show notes, and until I get into your earpiece again, remember, for while bodily training is of some value, godliness is of value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come. That's from 1 Timothy 4:8, and this has been the Run Lift Mom podcast. It's time for the Zaya Active item of the week, and this week it is the summer shorts. For once, I am not giving you activewear, but I'm giving you something that was inspired by activewear. These are shorts with flat seams, a cuff, pleats, nice deep pockets. These are dressy shorts, but they feature all of the great things that you love about a pair of running shorts, like a mesh bikini, a drawstring, plus they feel fantastic with a polyester spandex blend. You guys, these have a 2.5-inch inseam. They fit true to size, and they have been sold out for the last 2 weeks, so I couldn't tell you about them. They're back. They're in lavender. They're in black. If you want something for family pictures or going out on a nice date, but you want something that's going to be comfy and functional as well, you got to check out those summer shorts. I am beyond excited to announce that Red H Nutrition is an official partner of the Run Lift Mom podcast. I've been a Red H sponsored athlete since November of 2018, which means that I've trained for multiple marathons, a 100K trail race, while using these products to supplement my training as well as on race day. And I think that you can take it to the bank. They work. Some of my favorites are Super Greens, Super Flexi, and ZenRem, but you can click on details in the show notes to shop Red H Nutrition and check it out for yourself. Use code RUNLIFTMOM, that's RUNLIFTMOM, just like the name of this show, to save 10%. Again, just click on details in your show notes, shop Red H Nutrition, and then use code RUNLIFTMOM at checkout for 10% off. Hey, Run Lift Mom listeners, you know I'm the mom of 4 kids under age 5, and therefore I am always looking for ways to work smart, not hard. Anchor is the smartest way to make a podcast. Let me tell you why. First of all, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, but Anchor will also distribute your podcast for you, so then it can be heard on places like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a whole lot more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It is quite literally everything you need all in one place. And y'all, it's free. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Thank you for your support of the Run Lift Mom podcast. This is a passion project for me that began in February of 2019 and now has over 10,000 listens. It's amazing. This is where I uplift other women and create communities around the areas of running, lifting, and motherhood. If you haven't yet done so already, please rate, review, and subscribe. That helps folks find the podcast and it keeps this passion project going.